Washington football fanatics, who stays, who goes, and who is on the bubble. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please do. This is a brand new channel. It's only been, well, let's see, it was birthed about a month ago. So a lot of exciting stuff ahead on this channel. So stick with me. All right, let's get into it. Here are the top 5 players that I think needs to go. Number 1 on my list is Jeremy Sprinkle. He has frustrated me quite a bit. He just never really materialized into being this number 2 or tight end. I started to say wide receiver, but tight end. Dropped a lot of passes. Was in positions to where he could make some big plays. Never could actually make those big plays. I believe he's probably okay with blocking, but as far as being a receiving tight end, I just haven't been very impressed. I think, honestly, I think we need to see what we have in Thaddeus Moss when he's healthy and to see if he can actually earn a spot on the roster next year. Now, the second guy on this list is, honestly, I don't want him to be on this list. Love this guy. To me, he should be a lifelong Washington football player. And of course, I'm talking about the one sack leader, Ryan Kerrigan. But, this is a business. The NFL is a business. Ryan wants to still be able to start. I think he's got a lot left in the tank, and he can start for any other team. I don't want to see him go to another NFC East team. I honestly think he is gone. I'm about 95% sure that Ryan Kerrigan is going to be elsewhere next year. That one hurts, but he is probably not going to be on this team next year. Thomas Davis, he's had a long and successful career. I think he's calling it a career. I would be surprised if he comes back and plays football. He's been in the league for 16 years. I think it's time that he probably retires. And so, yeah, I don't think that Thomas Davis is going to be back next year with us. Dontrell Inman, he did have a few touchdowns for us this year, had a few catches for us this year. Haven't been extremely impressed by him. I think that we can do a lot better. I'm going to say that Dontrell Inman, I think, is not going to be with us. We still have to see how Harmon comes back from his injury. Last year, Harmon had a decent year. He seemed like he was starting to emerge. So Harmon, who knows? He could possibly be someone who emerges as that number 2, which would be great, considering he is a young guy. And finally, I'm going to say Ryan Anderson. Ryan Anderson is a high-quality player. Certainly made some plays for us coming off the bench. But I think that he's going to want to be able to go somewhere where he can start. I see that happening. He didn't, kind of like with Ryan Kerrigan, I feel kind of bad because he didn't really get a chance to have a career with a solid defense up until this year. And, and of course, there's other guys, obviously, who beat him out as far as being starters. So as much as, again, it's kind of the same thing with Ryan Kerrigan, as much as I would like to have this Ryan Anderson back, I think he's gone. I think he's going to want to be able to go somewhere else and start. So with that being said, who are my top 5 that stays? Of course, this goes without saying. We have to sign or re-sign this guy, and that is Brandon Sheriff. Now, I will tell you, there was a point that I kind of started souring a bit on Brandon Sheriff, especially last year. He got voted to the Pro Bowl, but there are times where I was like, he's not making Pro Bowl plays. But he's also battled some injuries as well, and I think as a fan, I was a little too tough on him. But obviously this year to get, voted as an all-pro, you have got to re-sign this guy. It is so tough, in my opinion, to find solid offensive linemen. And when you get somebody like Brandon Sheriff, you have got to make sure you lock them up for life. And he wants to be here for the duration of his career. So Brandon Sheriff, we have got to work on getting him signed. It's probably going to take a lot of money, but you know what? I think this team is in a good position cap-wise to be able to offer him a good, solid contract. And so that is someone who you've got to get locked up. So the second guy on the list, John Bostic. I think John needs to come back for another season. Bostic played pretty well for us. I thought he was a solid player. He came in and just made plays. If there's any downside, I think he had a few more personal foul calls on him than I would like to see. So, you know, sometimes kind of boneheaded plays that he made. But at the same time, he was a solid tackler. He made some great plays for us as well. This is somebody that you're going to need to have with you, whether if it's depth, you know, rotating in and out, whatever the case may be. You need to have somebody like John Bostic. Number 3 on the list, he is one of my emerging favorites, is Cam Sims. This guy, I felt, as the season progressed, got better. Yes, he did drop some passes he should have caught, but he also made some great catches as well. He's a big guy. He can get open down the field. He's a physical guy. I would definitely be happy to see him back on the team next year, and I think he will be, and I think he will continue to be a solid player. Number 4 on the list is J.D. McKissick. Now, I know that we signed him to a 2-year deal, but for me, a lot of times 2-year deals can kind of almost signal as a 1-year deal. 2-year deals, often you can kind of, you know, cut bait and leave. So I'm just going to say that J.D. McKissick greatly outperformed my expectations. He really became a workhorse for this team, especially when Antonio Gibson went down with injury. Number 5, we're staying in the backfield, and we're going with Peyton Barber. You know, Barber turned into one of those guys that kind of like I remember in the old Joe Gibbs days when he always had, you know, this big running back who would come in to get the tough 1 yard or the goal line touchdown or, you know, short yardage type of running back. And that's what Peyton Barber kind of turned into this year. He was solid. He almost never got pushed back. Every time that Barber came in, it seemed like we wound up picking up those tough first downs. And while I think that, you know, if we didn't have him, you know, we could probably live with Gibson and McKissick. And who knows, maybe Bryce Love. But at the same time on that, Barber, I think he can also come in and be a workhorse for you. And he was a hard runner. You know, he wasn't really somebody that I really remembered coming in there and kind of dancing around trying to find, you know, an opening to go through. He kind of hit the hole and more times than not he picked up the first down or the touchdown. So he's great in short yardage. I think you always need somebody like that, especially if a McKissick or Gibson goes down with injury. You always need a good solid number 3, and I think Barber is the guy that we need to hang on to. So bubble guys. These are guys that, you know, can either stay or go. Now, I'm not saying that as in being negative, as in saying I can take you or leave you. Obviously, if we have room for these guys and these guys want to come back, I want them back. But if not, then it's probably the best time to move on. Number 1, my favorite guy, my dude, inspirational player, Alex Smith. He's going to be the comeback player of the year this year. There is no question about that at all. Alex Smith has been the only quarterback in the last few years that has had a winning record with this team. This year he was 5-1 when he started. However, once he got that calf injury, and he was already kind of limited as far as his mobility before. After the calf injury, we obviously saw that he had absolutely no mobility at all. And the fact that he never actually got over that calf injury. He still was obviously bothered by that injury, and I would love to see him back if he was fully recovered. And I am not going to be upset if he says he wants to play one more year. But as with anybody else, certainly I'm always holding my breath every time he drops back to pass. If he comes back, I will support him. I will be behind him 100%. But I would not blame him, and I would not blame the team if they decide to move on past Alex Smith. Second guy, I've had a love-hate relationship with him. And when I mean hate, I don't mean actually hate. I just, in football terms, in football relationships, fan relationships to players. Steven Sims, last year, he made some big plays for us in an awful year. But I really thought, man, this guy has the potential. He made huge plays on special teams. He made huge plays on offense. I really felt that, honestly, that this guy had the ability to come in and be a solid wide receiver for us. At least a good, solid number 3 receiver. And this year, he's really kind of disappointed me. He's dropped some passes. And the big thing is on special teams. As a punt returner, I've just been very soured on him as being a punt returner. I just think that there's going to be room for only one Sims on this team, and I think Cam Sims gets that call. Sims, gone. That's all I'm going to say. Number 4 on my bubble list is Reuben Foster. We have not had the opportunity to really see what Foster can do for us just yet. If this guy is perfectly healthy, then he could be a beast for us. While I have not been very up on this dude as far as off the field things that he's been through, and plus this was the Bruce Allen move, and so that kind of sours me a little bit more on Mr. Reuben Foster. We haven't heard any other issues from him off field as we know. So at this point, I'm willing to give him another shot. I'm willing to at least have him in training camp come next year and see if he's able to come back. If he stays, then I hope he stays because he wins the job and he's 100% healthy and he's keeping his nose clean off the field. Other than that, I'm okay if he goes. Finally, number 5, and I think this guy's going to stay regardless, but I'm going to say Cal Allen. Now, Cal, before he got hurt, he was trying to make some plays for us. He's a tough quarterback. He's kind of mobile as it is as well. He tried making plays for us with his legs. He kind of reminded me a little bit of, I'm going to say it, Rex Grossman. I don't know why. Maybe it's because he's wearing number 8. I don't know. It was something with Cal Allen. I will say he's got more experience than the other quarterbacks, well, minus Alex Smith, that's on the roster right now. As far as, he did play, I think, pretty much the entire year for Carolina last year. He did win them some games. They did get started off really well. I don't think he's starter material per se. I think that he can be a good solid number 2 backup. But, he's one of these guys where I'm like, I think there's better choices out there. But if we do not go and pick up a quarterback in free agency, or we don't pick up a quarterback in the draft, or at least we don't draft somebody who could be ready for this year, then I would be okay if we rolled with Kyle Allen, because I think Allen can win us some games. You want to have at least a quarterback who doesn't turn the ball over. And I mean, Allen will turn the ball over, but I think as well, he will make plays for you. He's a bit of a gunslinger, but he can also make plays for you with his legs. So with all of that, I think that we will probably stick with Kyle Allen, but I think he is a bubble guy at this point. So those are my top 5 guys that need to go, that need to stay, and bubble guys. Let me know what you guys think. I know that I've left people off this list, and it's just that I was trying to keep the list short. As much as I would love for you guys to be able to have the time to sit down and watch a 30-minute or hour-long video, I know you guys don't have that time in the day to watch such a long video, and you probably are getting tired of watching this old gray beard here talking about football. But at any rate, that is my video for this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then consider giving me a like. Let me know in the comments section, who do you think should go, who do you think should stay, and who are your bubble guys? Who did I miss? Who did I not talk about in this video? And as well, if you're liking this channel, go ahead and subscribe. I think this channel is up and coming. I think we're going to have some good stuff on this channel, so you're going to want to stick around. All right, guys, you take care, and hell to the Washington football team.